Hi everybody, I'm Joey and welcome to Joey on Wheels, where I talk about disability, adaptation and all of that stuff. So today is June 8th. I just finished a vlog and uploaded it and all of that. I haven't posted it yet. And I thought that basically I was done for a bit, but all the feels that come with disability, either new disabilities, that you were able and everything else, and then suddenly you became disabled, or disabled already and then you got something new and now you're more disabled, those kind of things. So basically, backstory for those who don't know, I have been chronically ill all my life. I have been what I would class as disabled since I was about 19, and I'm 44 now, so this is quite a time. But I just recently had, I almost died from sepsis in October. And along with the sepsis, it brought some friends along because, why not? And I'm an indie author. I was writing and publishing and all the rest of it. I had plans to publish 2 books this year. That obviously didn't happen. I only went back to work literally last week. And so part of this channel is me trying to find a new routine, a new normal and all of that. But I'm also really struggling with the grief that comes with a new disability or a new way of, a condition, basically something that changes the way you were doing things before. And like I said, I nearly died in October. And I haven't really had the bandwidth or anything else like that to really deal with that, because grief is one of those things that once it hits you, it doesn't just leave if you ignore it. I'm not saying I ignored it the whole time, because I did have moments when I spoke to my GP about talking therapy. I spoke to my GP about, things I could do to actively make myself feel better mentally. And, we've tried this, we've done that. And one of the problems of talking therapy at the time was that because my main carer, who is my best friend, she works full-time now because money, basically. So yeah, she went back to work and she now works full-time at a prison. It's about an hour's drive away, so it's an hour there in the mornings, an hour there and back. Her child, Mix K, takes care of me during the day, and by taking care of me, I'm talking about making my dinner or getting me drinks, just monitoring the situation. They don't do any intimate care. They don't help me shower or anything else like that. It is simply having somebody in the house that if I need something that I physically cannot do myself, they can lend a hand, basically. And so because of that, I kind of I've had so much hitting me at once. With the sepsis, after I, woke up from the coma and I was moved to a normal ward, even though my memories and my speaking and all the rest of it wasn't yet back to normal, I kind of settled into just being okay with recovery. I had to learn how to transfer again. I had to learn how to stand up and feel safe standing up. I had to learn how to get on and off a toilet on my own. And, we had adaptations done here at the home because it was already a home for someone with disability, with mobility issues, basically. It was one of the reasons why we got the house we got, because it already had a 3-floor lift and grab bars and all of those fun stuff. So our house was already pretty much perfect for me to come home to. There wasn't a long delay in that because of the house. And it's just, I think I kind of wrapped up all that trauma, which I feel like that's too strong a word, but at the same time, I don't think there's any other word for it. I kind of sort of wrapped up all that trauma, I guess, and stuck it in the back of my mind, put it in a box, and focused solely on the physical recovery. So doing the physio and getting able to move my defunct hand better and getting able to cope with basically having a defunct hand, which was my dominant hand and arm, dealing with the nerve pain, getting that under control, looking at ways that would tell us whether this was something that could be corrected or if it was permanent, etc., etc. I focused solely on that. I wanted to go back to the author life, and I figured, strangely, that getting the physical side of things sorted would automatically mean I could go back to the life I had. and I can't. I didn't. I did a week of work last week. I did work today. It's Monday, so I'm a new week. I'll take weekends off now. And I didn't realize just how medical trauma and the things that happened would have a big impact on me going back to work. I'm not saying, therefore, I'm taking more time off. I'm kind of basically seeing how I go. I did a really, to me, scary thing and reached out to talking therapy for the town that I live in. Originally, when I reached out way back, I was kind of told that because my carer worked and had the only car we have, and because it's not possible for me to get there on my own, I wouldn't be suitable for that. And I kind of accepted it and I just moved on with it. And then, like, I spoke to my mum at the weekend, and those feelings, that trauma and all the rest of it that I shoved down behind in the back of my mind and all the rest of it, it came back. It did come back, and it came back in such a heavy way. And my mum talking to me, she knows how I am, and she sort of said, you don't seem that you're okay. And in the end, yeah, we talked about it, and she told me that basically I needed to advocate for myself. And I just felt like part of being disabled is having to advocate for yourself constantly. And it's exhausting. It's so fucking exhausting. And so, I mean, she made me promise that I would chase it up, because what she was saying was that the talking therapy people, they have to legally provide me with accommodations. And if that means that I don't go to where they're based and they do phone calls or they do video calls, they have the technology to do so, and they can't just refuse me care for that. I wrote them an email simply because I wanted a record of all the communication, just in case something came of it or didn't come of it, to much the point. But yeah, it's been a good day, but also not at the same time. It's just hard dealing with that grief, because I feel like the fact that I survived, I should therefore not be grieving the outcome of that. I have no right to be upset and struggle, because there are a lot of people who were as sick as I was who did not make it. And I got out of it with just my hand and arm being the way they are. And it's a lot to sit and think with. It's a lot to realize that, yes, disability applies like this to absolutely everybody. It can change your life in an instant. It doesn't matter how healthy and everything else you were before. And I was already disabled, so I assumed I'd done all my grieving, but apparently I hadn't. But yeah, I don't know where this vlog will go, but I wanted to just say that if you are disabled, if you are chronically ill and you are still grieving, or you are newly grieving the life you had before, that's okay. You're allowed to feel like that. Your feelings are valid, whatever they may be. And if you need to ask for help, if you need to advocate, I know it's hard. I know it's exhausting. And I know we shouldn't have to do this. But if you do, I wish you all the luck. And asking for help, it is hard. But sometimes you have to do it. And that's okay. I will catch you wherever this vlog ends up going. Hi everybody, it's June 11th. It's a Thursday. I'm just about to post my video for AUTHORTUBE of the week. But I had a lot of thoughts about the last clip when I made it on, I think it was Monday, about disabled grief and about everything that comes along with that. Now, I have been disabled, if you didn't know, since I was about 19, depending on whether you count the fact that I was disabled kind of already from birth with the lung condition that I have, or because of how severe it was and is. but anyway, in my mind, I really claim the disability thing as, 2001 when I was 19 and medically retired from the working world. And I did a lot of grieving then. I felt like I found it a lot easier to grieve then because I was 19. And although I'd been told things like, you will never work a conventional job again, I don't think I completely bought it. And then obviously, as my life progressed, I got better really at compartmentalizing things to make sure that I had everything I needed. And now it's just like at 44, I'm realizing that the life I had before the sepsis was wildly different to the life I have now. A lot of the things have stayed the same. I am still an author. I still work. I still do my things here and there. I still have a carer. I still need that care. But I guess before the sepsis, I could do things like on my shower days, it was just up to me. When I showered, where I showered, all of that, it was up to me. And getting dressed was 95% up to me. And now it's just, it's a team effort, basically. And it's very difficult to really process that grief and move on from that grief. But I don't know whether I mentioned it in the last clip, but I did reach out to a psychology service that I've used before for therapy and talking therapy and dealing with things that way, just simply because while I know there is probably a waiting list and it will probably take time, I don't think it's a good idea for me to try and work through all of these on my own, though I have done that before and it has worked out, hopefully, what it feels like in a good way. Now it kind of feels like doing that with the emotions and thoughts and feelings that I have might be detrimental to the long term completion of that. So like before I could grieve like in stages at 19 as I went through all the steps of this bit new and that bit new and all the rest of it. I feel like now I kind of really need to face it head on and have some help to kind of unpack the things that are in the back of my mind and all of that lot. I just want to be clear, I am okay. I'm not having any thoughts of doing bad things to myself. I just don't feel as mentally healthy as maybe I would like to feel. I do have a good GP. I do have a good support system. So it's not like I'm here with nobody and nothing to do. It's just I'd like a professional's opinion, that kind of thing. I am finding it easier now that I kind of like got the words out. I am finding it easier to sort of like move through with coping and dealing with the fact that yes, I am grieving the life I had 8 months ago, and I will probably grieve it for a very long time. That's the thing with I think most grief, but also with disabled grief, is it doesn't really stop. Like even when you've found ways to cope that are healthy and all the rest of it, it's not like it goes away. It just pops its head up at completely different points, and it's just like, yeah, okay, I'm still here, I'm still annoying, I'm still loud, I'm still just gonna tell you things that you literally do not want to know, and then you just kind of have to put up with it. So yeah, I'm doing okay. I could be doing better, but I'm doing okay. And I feel like it's a conversation that needs to be had when it comes to chronic illness, disability, new things coming along the way. And I feel like in some respects, that's why I wanted to create this channel, because this kind of thing does not belong on a channel about writing and all the rest of it, unless I also was already doing that kind of thing. Just because the audience here is going to be other disabled and chronically ill people, or people who were just wanting to know that kind of thing, rather than people who are just here for book stuff. So yeah, I feel like I made a good choice there with choosing to have a second channel, even though it's a juggling thing, which we knew already. So yeah, but I am okay. I am doing somewhat better. I might take you along for the rest of the week just because Meepo has come around again. Don't know how that happened. It's tomorrow. So yeah, might do that, might not, but yeah, I'm doing better. I feel like I speaking the words, even just to my phone, to then put into a video, to then share, it does help. It does. So yeah, I will speak to you when I next speak to you. Hello, it is June 12th, and even though like the topic of this video has kind of been disabled grief, I wanted to talk about the fact that I had a moment of like disabled joy. We're in the car. I'm not driving. I will show you. That's me. She's driving. I promise. Basically, we went out for the afternoon before morning really to get some prescriptions and stuff like that, and I treated us to Taco Bell, which is not uncommon. We don't normally eat in. We normally get it to take away because it's normally very, very busy, and we eat elsewhere. But the thing was, it was really, really early, so about 11 o'clock or something like that. And so because of that, there was pretty much, we were order number 5, put it that way. And so we went to eat in. And last time we ate in, I had to park in a really awkward spot because there were no other tables free, and you're used to that when you go places. If you've been in a wheelchair for a while, you kind of know that nothing is designed with wheelchairs in mind. Anyway, so there was one table that we could sit at. There were several tables we could sit at, but there was one table we could sit at that we thought maybe it would work. It was the most perfect wheelchair accessible table I have ever sat at. It was like a whole spiritual moment for me because I could wheel all the way up under the table. My foot plates weren't in the way, or my foot plate wasn't in the way, and I just sat like a normal person. Like, do you know how rare that is when going out, eating, and in a wheelchair? It's so bloody rare. And I ended up like telling the staff, like, hey, A+ job there, because I don't think I've ever had that kind of experience before. So yeah, that was a nice bit. We are on the way to Meepo, which I don't know how it's come around again, but apparently it has. Apparently it's been 4 weeks. And hopefully at the end of it all, because I'm wearing my new adaptive top, and it has popper buttons that you can open for things like port access and stuff like that. So hopefully it'll go all well and I'll get to show off how nice it is. But yeah, today has been a better day than I thought it would be. Pain-wise, we managed to pick up more meds on time, basically. So it meant that with B going away for the weekend kind of thing, I didn't have to worry about running out while she was away. So yeah, that was good. It was a good morning. I enjoyed myself. We went to lots of charity shops and basically bought as many CDs as we wanted, because that's number one reason why we go to charity shops. And yeah, just had a good time, and it was fun. And I will try and catch up with you after Meepo. I don't know when that will be, but hopefully it'll be one of those days where it's very quick, in and out, and done. So yeah, I'll catch you later. And we are done. I don't want to talk too loudly because we are going down the corridors, but I have had my port flushed and my Meepo done, and I got to show off the things. Hello, it is June 13th, which actually is my big brother's birthday, so I have wished him a happy birthday. But also, I figured that basically after the clips from yesterday, which I do need to apologize for the poor audio in the car, I think next time I'm doing things in the car, I won't use the mic, or I'll clip it somewhere, because I think it was because basically our roads are full of potholes, because that's normal. I thought that basically we had reached the end of this vlog. I can't remember how much footage I have, but it feels like a lot. I wanted to discuss disabled grief, and it kind of came together in the best way that kind of topic can. I am feeling better. Like I said, I had that moment of like disabled joy yesterday with Taco Bell and that table that was so perfect for wheelchair users. And also just, it's a topic that I think is not talked about enough, and I wanted to do something to change that, because even though I have been disabled for many, many years, and even though I've been a wheelchair user again for many, many years, with the sepsis and everything that it brought with it, it's a big change. It's a big change, and with that comes more grieving of the life I had before and adapting to the life I have now. In good news, I mentioned about reaching out to mental health services for therapy. I got a text message yesterday asking me to book an appointment on the phone for the assessment, basically. So I don't know how long it will take from assessment to actual therapy. We don't know. But my appointment is on Tuesday. it's a phone appointment, and hopefully something comes from that. That's a good thing. That's a step forward. And yeah, disabled grief is a real thing, but so, as it turned out this week, is disabled joy, which I hopefully will be able to talk about more another time and be able to show it off another time. But yeah, for the moment, I think this video is done. So, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and all of that stuff. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.